Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 226 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah! Today, recording day is Tuesday, but it feels like a Monday, or is it
Yeah.
It feels like a Tuesday? I don't know.
Monday on a Tuesday.
Yeah, October 10th, 2023. And, well, there's rain here at the Beaver Lodge if I look outside my window.
Yeah.
Yes, there's been a lot of rain. But that's okay. That's okay because it had been rather dry, actually, for about like 2 or 3 weeks previous. So the ground needs a good drink. So we're good with it. It's just that it's rain and it's cold. That's a little less fun. If we had kept a bit of the warmth and we had some rain,
It
that'd be a little
feels
fun.
it feels like November. Like it really does feel
Yeah.
like November, late November at that.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, he, Mr. Beaver A, and with me is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. Big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We have a Tuesday morning nibble for you, but before we get everything started, Mr. Grizzly, it happens to be World Mental Health Day. How's your mental health today?
I did not know that. I'm not bad. I'm still digging my way out of the hole. I'm not, as I said the other day, I'm not 100% there yet. I don't know when I'll get there. This weather is not helping. It really doesn't. This does drag me down because I have all the bad things when it comes to mental health, like ADHD, OCD, SAD, depression, anxiety. It all adds up. So I do my best to fight against the dark demons. I don't know what else to call them. Black dog is what Winston Churchill used to say, and Led Zeppelin wrote a song about it. But I do my best to try and keep my head up and my chin up and stiff upper lip and quiet desperation, which is not necessarily a good thing, but it's how I do it, and be as happy as I can be. And I guess I am as happy as I can be. You got to remember, though, the thing about depression is doesn't mean you're sad. Doesn't mean you're weepy. It means you're physically limited because of your brain chemistry, is what it boils down to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I am, I'm feeling that right now. My limitations are there. Not, like I said, I'm nowhere near where I was a few days ago. I'm doing much, much better, but there's still there's still some work to do. So
Yeah. Well, let's hope that the upward trend continues. And
indeed.
but for anyone, you know, World Mental Health Day. I mean, if you're going through stuff, I mean, there's studies that say 1 in 7 teenagers are going through things. So, and that's just the teenagers.
That's right.
And pretty much every one of us at one moment in our lives, even if we don't have a diagnosed condition, will go through an episodic moment where our mental health is taxed beyond what it is we can handle, or what it is we think we can handle, or at least what it is we can handle without some help.
Nobody is untouched by this.
Right.
Nobody. Everybody is affected by it in one way or another.
So, when I sign off today with be kind to and gentle with yourself, put a little extra on that today. Just a little extra good for yourself today. All right. Especially because, oh boy, the times.
Yeah.
Right. If we weren't already living in the most FUBAR timeline, we got yet another war. But just, like we all left for the long weekend.
Come back into the full waging war that started on the long weekend.
You have one turkey, and look what happens.
Yeah.
I just,
yeah, it's a difficult pill to swallow, but
heavy.
It's a jagged little pill.
Yeah, it's a jagged little pill. Let's see. Overnight, or over yesterday, the big question seems to be whether or not Israel is planning to launch a ground invasion into the Gaza Strip.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what to say about that. It's here's my take on this, and my take is very pedestrian. I don't know enough to make a qualified commentary on the situation over there. It's thousands of years old. I don't know who is at fault here. Hamas, I guess, launched, from what I understand, I'm just gonna, again, very pedestrian. Hamas launched an attack on Israel. Israel fought back. I understand that. You need to defend yourselves. Hamas is an evil empire, which is bringing pain and suffering upon the Palestinian people, the settlers in the Gaza Strip.
And a lot of Palestinians don't like Hamas.
No, right? They're just trying to live their lives.
There, right?
They're just trying to live their lives, man. And it's a complex situation. 2 million people in Gaza, half of them are children. 2 million. And Gaza is, like you say, the most densely populated spot on earth because it is not big.
No.
And it's because at one point in time it was much bigger than it currently is. It's just Israel keeps claiming more land, which is a complicated thing when you consider, land claims in this country. So, yeah, I don't feel as a cis, het, white, fifth generation Canadian male that I'm qualified to comment or argue for either party in this fight. I think it's a tragedy. Innocents will die. Well, one man who we know is the face of Israel, Netanyahu, who many Israelis cannot stand or stomach because he's a dictator. He is. There's no two ways about it. I know he was elected, but the guy is a dictator in hiding. He's got a thin veil covering it up, basically, from what I have read. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I have no issues with being corrected when it comes to this because I'm not an expert on it. But it's a terrible, tragic situation. Thousands have already died. More will die. And 95 to 98% of them are women, children, and innocents. Innocent men who were not in the battle, not in the fight, just trying to do their daily chores or work to get through the day to earn enough money to keep the roof over the heads and the food on the table. And now, you've got
And you got
one
this,
group.
and you got the same thing on the other side, right? You got people in, Gaza who are just trying to live their lives as best they can, and Hamas has decided that they're doing this, and all of a sudden it's raining.
Yes.
Right.
And you're right about that,
Explosions.
Jillian. Gaza is basically an open air prison. It really is. It really is, because they don't have freedom of movement. They can't go, they can't go into Tel Aviv or anything like that. It's a mess.
And the thing is also, right, when you're looking at a graph, like right now, if I show you a graph of the price of oil and I show you like the last month, like there's a nice drop. But if I show you the last year, yes, it's dropping, but it has been like significantly lower earlier in the year before, Russia and Saudi Arabia decided that they were going to like cut down production to raise the prices because it was so low and they need money to fund the war. So that's if you put the dial at Thursday. Yeah, Hamas dropped a whole bunch of.
Yes.
If you say, if the situation that people have been saying, it's a situation of apartheid and Gaza is in fact an open air prison, if you set the dial back, and now you've got a population that's been, but it's not the population because Hamas is Lebanon based.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's just a few old men who want to do whatever they want to do, and they don't damn whoever gets in the middle of our crossfire.
And like you said, because Gaza is densely populated, and it's tiny. Right? When Israel, who is a power, starts making it rain, there is nowhere to hide. There's absolutely nowhere to hide.
This comment from Hugh, and yes, I've seen the statements. So I've seen Ruby making the statements.
Yes,
he's completely dehumanized the Palestinians. Totally.
Yes. We'll get to that one. Basically, it was. I think it's the defense minister.
Yes.
Yoval. Oh God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But basically made a statement that sent shivers down my spine.
Understandable.
Because when you start using those type of words, I heard it on Al Jazeera News about 16 hours ago. Quote, I have ordered the complete siege on the Gaza Strip. That's the one we talked about yesterday. There will be no electricity, no food, no fuel. Everything is closed. We are fighting human animals and we act accordingly.
There you go.
Now, when you say human animals and act accordingly, that seems to me like you are giving yourself permission to behave like a human animal.
See, this is where it gets complicated, right? And this is why I say I'm not qualified to comment on this. So that is a statement that came from the Israeli Minister of Defense, correct?
Yoav Gallant, yeah.
Thank you. So we have that, and then here in Ottawa we had a Solidarity with Israel rally in Ottawa last night that both Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the leader of the official opposition, Pierre Poilievre, appeared at.
Yep.
You see where the complication lies? It's like, yes, solidarity with Israel, but hey, whoa, hang on a second here. Did you hear what that guy just said? He wants to dehumanize people completely. He says they're human animals.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's the thing.
So right? I got to be Switzerland on this. I can't take a side because Hamas is wrong and Israel is retaliation. They're killing innocents.
And the thing is that if you've been following Mr. Netanyahu, I've never, again, pedestrian comment, but I've never gotten the impression that he was very much really wanting peace. I'm
No.
getting the impression that what's the opportunity he has now is the thing he's always really wanted. It's the impression I've always viewed him as being one of the single most biggest impediments to peace in that
Mhm.
region, because anytime anybody was making a move, just trying to sign a deal with Iran on the nuclear stuff, he would oppose it. He would just never seem to row in the same direction. There would be negotiations, and we'd get to a certain part, and then there'd be a poison pill or something,
Well, I
right?
don't know if you saw the speech from Zelensky yesterday, who was saying they have credible data that backs up that this Hamas was funded by Putin and pushed into doing what they did because he wants turmoil to take the focus off of him.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, Russia funded the civil war in Syria,
yeah. Well, yeah, and
the Syrian government.
and also while all this is going on, has anybody checked in with Chairman G?
Yeah, where's he?
A lot of distraction going on there, and that's perfect cover to do a couple of things. Just asking. Um, yeah, but listen, there's stuff with India, there's stuff with Russia, there's stuff. Moment, and it's like if I was G, I'd be sitting there going,
Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to sit back and watch.
because while you were busy, I'm just going to move this little piece here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to build another little island over here. I'm going to start claiming that this is ours too. And
You
right,
know, I know somebody's going to dump on me for being Switzerland on this one, for being neutral, but I'm like, but both sides are wrong. Both
and,
sides are wrong.
and let's make something very clear. You can be watching this and making distinctions between the people
Hmm.
and their current government.
Right.
Now, Hamas is not a government, but they
No.
kind of run shit down there.
Yes.
So, um, the
Doesn't matter.
government of Israel and the government,
Mm,
Hamas, the rulers,
right.
right, or dictators or whatever, the people who are operating the strip at the moment, um, they are doing a lot of things in the name of people when those people are not asking them to do these things.
That's the scary
And
part.
some of them are actually imploring them to not do these things, right? So if you are a person that believes in that things are messy and complicated and so are emotions, you
Hmm.
can feel bad for Palestinians and you can feel bad for Israelis. You can
Yes.
be horrified that people came across the border, Hamas, and executed all these people in this manner. And you can be horrified that the government of Israel is saying, hey, let's not let a crisis go to waste. Let's just bomb the fuck out of that place. Right?
Yeah.
And cut off all water, cut off all electricity, starve them, freeze them. Like,
Yeah. I see, and I
right?
get, I get the
You can be
thought
horrified
process,
by all of it.
and I understand the thought process behind that. I do, but it's like you got 2 million people living in a very small area, very small piece of land, right? How many of them actually were part of Hamas?
Mhm.
And that's the problem. So all of the innocents are going to suffer from the action of just a few people.
Yeah. And the point that you made, right? It's the House of Commons thing all over again.
Hmm.
They honored the Nazi guy yesterday. They went to the solidarity thing.
Yeah.
Yes. After the human animals comment.
Yeah. It's like this, no matter what you do, you're going to do it wrong. Even with the best and the right intentions, you're going to be found at fault because nobody's innocent
And in a pluralistic country
of Canada.
as is Canada, where we have a significant Jewish population
Hmm.
and we have a significant Muslim population
Hmm.
who have come here to live in peace, but now something like this happens. And let's not kid ourselves, right? I'm sitting here, other than my friends that I have who are Muslim and my friends I have who are Jewish, who are both looking at this and probably going through things, because I have no horse in this fight whatsoever.
None.
I have no connection to either lands. Nobody
Nope.
I know lives there, right? I am horrified by what I'm seeing. But
Oh,
I
yes.
can be detached and look at it. If you are living here and you have somebody living there, you have friends, you have family, you have people that you care about that are over there on either side of that border. At this particular moment, when things are going down like this, where Israel's calling what happened the worst day probably in the history of the country,
Mhm.
and I'm sure the Palestinians are not finding it's a good day,
Well, it's not good
right?
for anybody.
Those people, okay, the current mood right now is, listen, I don't have time for your fucking nuance. I have people that I care about over there that are in danger. Are you with me or not? And what are you going to do to help me? Because I got a lot of people to see and talk
Yeah.
about right now, and I don't have time.
Yeah.
Right? That's the reality there. So
Well,
take a strong position. But we're taking these strong positions, standing with the members of the Jewish faith in Canada, because it is absolutely horrible that there was an incursion.
is.
That is a terrible thing. No matter what terrible thing has been happening before, it does not justify that terrible thing. And vice versa. Because what's coming is, again, I don't know a lot about this kind of stuff, but I know enough about human behavior and human nature, because that's what we do in communications. Is we look at human behavior, communications, we look at what's been done before, analyze the environment, and what's the most likely thing people are going to do by keeping it real about human behavior. This is going to be a gore fest.
Oh, yes. Well, I've seen some of the symbols of destruction, and I'm not going to show them because
No.
I don't want to start the day like that.
And we are not going to be edified by that. But rushing out and taking that strong position in that way, like this, in a country as pluralistic as we are, there was support for one segment of society. But what about the other one? Now, again, if you're out cheering for the death and murder and execution, no. But again, being detached and putting if I'm looking at all the possibilities, I can imagine if indeed, again, people that I had loved had been living in what I had considered to be an apartheid system in an open prison for X number of years, and all of a sudden I had resentment towards those who did it, and somebody did something to them in an enemy is my enemy, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of way, even though I don't really like them, but they had it coming. If that's your mindset. If you had those emotions under a boiling pot and you had the lid on that pot and you had been pressing it down, at some point that pressure, there's going to be a release.
It's going to blow.
There is a possibility that part of that celebration was release. And
I
not
don't know.
necessarily. Again, for the individuals in Canada who had those displays that a lot of people found very, 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 very objectionable, and those displays have caused some of our politicians to take maybe a firmer stance on one side right now, again, because we're talking about the moment, then might be wise if you were playing the long game and waiting to see how things play out. But again, you're in a situation where people want to know right now. So you also kind of don't have a choice.
I understand the desire for people to say choose a side. I'm like,
Especially
get
when
it.
this is going on.
Except, but how do I choose a side in this? Because I mean, seriously, I don't know which. I don't want to be on either side. I just want humanity to prevail. Number one, okay. Number one. But this is such a complex issue that has been going on for thousands of years. So how am I supposed to choose a side in this? I think Hamas is wrong for what they did, and they should be punished. If you can ever find the individuals who organized and set this up, they should be punished for it. But as somebody said in the chat, they build tunnels near civilian encampments with the ideology that, oh, they won't bomb them. But Israel's like, screw it, I'm bombing anyway. So it's like,
It's
what
messy.
Saucy Sea Witch Rhiannon says here, I will say it and you can hate me for it, but it's religion. Organized religion based in patriarchy is destroying the world. I have been saying that for decades. And I know my mom gets mad when I say that, but I'm like, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Every war ever fought has been based in religion. Every single one. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. There's mess.
It's terrible mess. It's and I don't know. Again, I'm not qualified to make a fair comment on it because I don't have the knowledge or skill set to do so. It's not my area of expertise. I haven't studied it in depth. So am I choosing a side? Here's the side I'm choosing: humanity. I just want the innocents to not have to suffer, and they are. Everybody loses in this.
Indeed. So lots of stuff is going on over there. I mean, the war is now on two fronts because what's been going on has been on the southwestern front, and there's also been incursions through the north now by Hamas through Lebanon. So now there's fights on two fronts, which is usually not very good. You usually don't want to be fighting on two fronts. And it seems that the militants from Hamas have told Israel that if there are more sort of bomb attacks without warning first so that people can take shelter and that type of stuff, they are going to start executing the hostages.
Yeah, great. Wonderful. This is just escalating to worse. The worst parts of the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some Canadian news for you in just a second there, Ellen. We just wanted to deal with this first because this is, kind of all over every newspaper, news magazine, television program, you name it, it's everywhere. So we wanted to cover this first.
The Canadian news is how our leaders responded.
Yes.
I don't know if we have time for it this morning because I don't know when you have to go, but there is video of the speeches they gave at the Solidarity with Israel rally.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
First, great that both the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition were there. That's great.
Yes, Jillian, a Canadian was taken hostage.
Yes, there was a Canadian taken hostage. Some Americans, many from different countries. Some might even be believed are dead. 2 other Canadians are missing. Yes, Saucy, exactly. One Canadian has been killed and 2 are missing. Yeah, that was the latest thing today.
The hostage is a woman from Winnipeg who's Cassie mentioned her earlier. She's been doing work there for 40 plus years, I believe. And yeah, I saw a video of her as a hostage. Now they were actually there was humanity there in she was held hostage, but they weren't torturing her, beating her, or anything like that. They were providing her with water and food. And now maybe that's the PR bit, but I did see that video. So
and one of the Canadians who passed away was a young man who was at the music festival, and it seems that he was trying to help people when he was felled. So you have the two leaders. They both did well. Said the things that they needed to say. Pierre Poilievre's discourse might surprise some people because he did do a more of a statesmanly thing. He didn't speak on behalf of conservatives, but on behalf of Canadians.
for a change.
But throughout the day on his Twitter feed, there were images of him campaigning at various events and celebrations and whatnot, big smiles and all that kind of thing. And while I personally have no problem with that, because you're a politician like this, your most valuable asset is your time, and I understand that as a politician, you know what? This you're committed to do this on this day, and yes, there's stuff going on like this, but you're going and you're there, you're in the moment, you celebrate with them, you're there present, you do that, and then you go to the next thing. So I get that, and the compartmentalization that's required, but conservatives are typically always the first when there's a special day or a big thing. It's like, oh my God, there's a tornado that hit and the prime minister's on vacation. He didn't come back. Oh my God, that's so terrible. Where's got a cabinet for that? Like this. Or, oh my God, it was the Queen's funeral. He's singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Or it's the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And even though he kind of made it, well, he didn't actually make it clear he was stepping aside, but did the things before he should have said that part. But he makes himself invisible on the day. Like this, oh my God, where is he? Where is he? Like this. And so that's going on. So on the day that Israel says is the worst day in their history, you're out. And when you're scheduled to do a unity thing that night to talk about, you're out glad handing that day rather than canceling your events and making it solemn. Just saying, I noticed. So given that, even though like I'm listening to it like this, and the entire time he's talking, I have these chills going up and down my spine, not because I'm thrilled and excited, but because I'm frightened. Because he is actually somewhat succeeding at doing the statesman-like thing in those moments.
Well, I've heard from many people that he's good when he needs to be. Right?
Yes. In that room, again, full of people, because trust me, if you've showed up, if you've gotten out of your house to go to that place where the prime minister and everybody is coming to talk for solidarity, you are feeling something. Okay. Yes. Your feelings are, are like right there. You're there. So in that room of people who showed up to hear you say that you are with me without any nuance, because the things that happened are completely horrible and they have people they love over there who are in danger right now. Some of them are missing, who might have even been taken hostage. Okay? It doesn't get any more real or emotional. It doesn't get more real or emotional than that in a room.
No.
Yes. So total commitment is what you have to deliver. And they both delivered it. But somewhere along the way in Pierre's speech, both the prime minister and the leader of the opposition used firm language. But prime minister still stayed within the bounds of what we normally expect and adopted the statesman-like tone, which sometimes, because it has to be formal to tell the world, because the prime minister, and this is one thing that maybe people didn't note, waited until that night to make his first public comments.
Mhm.
He made them to the community first. That's an incredible show of respect. So all those people are going, well, the prime minister hasn't said anything like this. He was taking care to make sure he was delivering his first public comments with his own voice on camera to the community. That's a big thing. And that's the second thing I will note, just taking a little step aside on the India thing. All that was discussed with them through diplomatic channels, in quiet, in private, for a good period of time first. And then the prime minister went himself and discussed it in quiet and private, did not announce he was going to discuss that with him when he went, didn't make a big show. He showed the respect. And then we got a response. So our prime minister here is showing the respect. He waited to make his first public comments. And he delivered them with the prime ministerial and the statesman-like tone, because those images are probably going to go around the world because they're the first ones. But when you adopt the prime ministerial tone, it sometimes has a little distance because of the formality. You can tell in the prime minister's voice, however, when he was talking, that there was some genuine emotion at a couple of times, which was not in Pierre's speech. The trembling of the voice of genuine emotion. But Pierre, because he's the leader of the opposition, related. He didn't have that cold distance tone. As in when he talked about them, when the prime minister was talking about the horrible things and whatnot, Pierre was using words like sadistic. Just the little higher level of words, so that if you're in that room, maybe having someone there who's in trouble is like, okay, yeah, tell me about those sadists.
Yeah, he's trying to demonize people. I get it.
Okay,
that's what he does. That's what he does.
But not just. It's supposed to be a unity moment, and it's almost like it was like this. Yes, there's the prime minister. Now come to me, my children. Sort of type little thing. And when both the prime minister and he made that statement, like this, it's terrible, it's horrible, it should not happen. We stand against it. We stand resolutely with Israel. And like this, Hamas is not a government; they're a terrorist organization. That line, right? That applause line that comes out. They both got the applause, but because Pierre used a little bit fiery language and didn't have the slight diplomatic detachment that comes with the prime minister addressing the first time with images that'll go through the world, the applause he got was a little louder and a little longer. And from that point on, because even though it's not glaring, but there are times in there when he was relating like this where he was actually smiling. The prime minister never smiled once. This. He was, I really, 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 really want to believe that in a situation like this, he could go there and say something sincere from the heart. But the guy is so inauthentic. I just have a hard time buying it. And when I saw them lay it on a little thicker first, I'm going, that's a little, my ears picked up a bit. But I said, okay, maybe that's just a style thing. And then when he's going on like this, and I've noticed like now he's relating, he's like saying things and throwing a couple of Jewish words in there and like this, and every now and then he's like smiling. I'm going like, the motherfucker's campaigning.
Of course he is. When is he
But
not?
not hard. Not
No,
hard, not
no.
hard. If you're just sitting there and you're listening to it, you're going, "Wow, that was a really great speech."
Dog whistling.
Not even the dog whistling, just the
No. Dog whistling. His campaign is dog
yes, yes.
whistling because
But this wasn't
you
it.
know,
That's what I'm saying. This one was different. This was I
subtle.
already know there's the vulnerable and emotional that I'm gonna exploit your vulnerability to make you even more
Mhm.
scared, and then I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna protect you. And there's the other sort of like, "Yes, of course, this is terrible. Everybody's on your side, but nobody's more on your side than me." Come that one,
Look,
it's a different style. It's a different
he'll use
style.
you until you're used up and then throw you away.
Well, and proof of that is, um, look how fast they threw the Muslim community under the bus. Those same Muslim communities who just 2 weeks ago
Yeah, we're supporting
in
them.
that, like, million van march.
Mhm.
Ms. Bahira, the all your allies, where are they now?
You get abandoned and thrown out immediately. When they have no more use for you, you are thrown away.
Because
This is who the Reform Party is. It's who they've always
they
been.
can no longer be your allies in keeping you can no longer be allies in keeping trans kids down because now there's that Israel thing. So you
Mhm.
guys are crap again, and we must hate. And I mean, there's already people calling for the Palestinians who are going to the malls and knocking their horns to be arrested or deported if they're not citizens yet. So
Well,
I
and
guess that love was deep and real.
you did see several prominent members of the Muslim community come forward and say, "Do not march in this million van march,
Yes,
man, whatever the hell it is, because these people do not have your interest at heart.
exactly.
They will use you and throw you away." These are prominent members of the community
Yes.
saying, "This will not benefit you. They will use you as a cudgel in this moment, and very shortly down the road, they will throw you away."
Like I kept on saying,
They just did.
like I kept on saying during the time, the overwhelming majority of Muslims that I know are loving, caring, affectionate. They
Mhm.
just want to live in peace.
Yep.
And they're
Yep.
quite happy to live and let live. Quite
Mhm.
happy. And just as is the case for every group, then you get the few who don't and are very loud about it.
Indeed.
Yep.
Let's pivot here. I got some convoy news for you from the Camp Casselman. I think they're calling it Camp
Count
Freedom.
Bouncy Castle. Oh, sorry, Count Bouncy Casselman. Sorry.
Yeah.
I saw that somewhere on the web.
We'll have a look at this, right? So I watched this video and then I made a comment, and I'll tell you what my comment is in just a moment here. But have a look at this video because, well, it kind of speaks for itself, right? They're all about freedom and capitalism and watch this.
Good morning, everybody. This is our kitchen setup here at base camp in Casselman. This here is where all your lovely donations have been going, and we appreciate everybody and all that you have done for us. Some fresh corn under here, Thanksgiving dinner, we got barbecues and everything set up in here. Look at this. You people are absolutely so wonderful. We thank you so much for the toilet paper and the women's supplies and all the muffins and everything that we need here to make this possible. We got lots of bread and fruit and veggies and fresh carrots, lots of water. We appreciate everything. So anything and everything that everybody has donated has come here so that we can feed the people. This camp probably goes through about $4,000 to $5,000 worth of stuff per week. I mean, we got a lot of people here. So we appreciate all the donations. We love you all so very, 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 very much. Thank you, and we hope to see you all soon. Good morning.
So
That looks like communism and
here's
food poisoning.
here's my response to that. My comment was, so woke socialism. Got it. Good to know.
Uh-huh. 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 They're so right, they're left, and they don't know it.
They don't even know it. They've done a complete, well, not a complete circle, but
They've got they've gone so far right. Sorry, what's this? They've gone so far. Say this way? No, right. Not sure. It's backwards for
Yeah.
me. So
Go.
make it look right
Go.
for you. They go so far right that they've come back left.
Basically. Yeah, and I gotta wonder how. Well, I mean, the cross contamination, the storage, like there's a million health violations right there. But
Yeah,
here's the question.
the kids have noticed.
Here's the question that I have. It's when you get to. I'm going to put this on the screen here, right here. So give me a sec while I put it on the screen. And here's the question I'm going to ask that maybe somebody in the comment section can tell me. So you see a prominent label on that fridge, right? Prominent label of a very large multinational corporation.
Oh, I'm not sure they would want to be associated with that.
Well, this is my question. How they feeling about, and that is also a beverage fridge. There's meat in there.
Yeah, that's Miss Sadeka. Oh, good Lord, I already see. Whoops, new comments came in. Oh, good Lord, I already see cross contaminations and tons of health infractions. Look at Linda. That does not look like safe food storage or prep.
This is PNC Bio's comment. They're communist beggars now. Huge shift. Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Here in this comment here now, and you know how I feel about food banks. I feel they're a total failure of society and government. But this statement: food banks could have benefited.
Mm-hmm.
I feel food banks are a total failure of society and government, especially when I see the government like Doug Ford yesterday. Oh, we love the volunteers getting out. When municipal, provincial, and federal leaders say, we love the volunteers coming out to the food banks, it's like, no, you have all failed at every level of government. Food banks should not exist in a country as rich and as prosperous as Canada. It is a failure of society.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that till the day I die.
Yeah.
They should not exist.
Okay. Kit Cassie, they stole the Pepsi-sponsored cooler from the kids' community center. Is that true? Really? Oh my word. Kid PNC Bios. Oh, this is good. So much food safety. The outhouse must be quite a state. I can see it right now, considering that they only have one. Maybe they've got more.
Oh, I think they've got another one now. I think they have two.
But oh yes, I was like, could you just like this is to Peggy. I hope you're listening, Kid Peggy. It's like, dearest Martha, the outhouse conundrum back at Camp Bouncy Casselman has been resolved. We now have a second one. However, a lot of people seem to be spending more time. Maybe it's the beef. I'll write soon.
Letters from the front, yes. And I have a Camp Phelpston I spoke about, which is about 20 kilometers north of Barrie. They have they're calling it their Freedom Camp. Take a look at this. They were desperate for porta potties. So Phelpston's Freedom Camp outhouse is here. Thanks to all the wonderful helpers. Amazing job. Many thanks and blessings. Take a look at the flag on the side of that outhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kit Tavi goes, gee, that bathhouse sure looks outhouse sure looks gender neutral.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, this is why I say woke socialism. They have gender neutral porta potties and they're begging for food and people are giving it to them and they're sharing the food for everyone. Woke socialism.
We need that harp.
It's actually communism, not socialism, because socialism is when the workers own the means of production. That's what socialism is. But I like to say socialism because they don't understand any of it. And then you'll have an idiot like Theo Fleury. We're in a communist dictator state of fascist. That's a word salad. None of that works together. You can't be a fascist and a communist.
Yeah. No. Oh, and by the way, for the kids listening at home, because we didn't describe it, the flag was a flag that had the top half of a Canadian flag and the bottom half of an American flag sewn together.
Yeah, it's pretty hideous. Sorry for not describing that. It's just, anyway. Let's wrap things up. I got to get to the office. I have an insanely busy week ahead of me. I've got a big board meeting I got to take care of. Thursday is going to be a 16-hour work day for me. So let's wrap this up, sir, so I can get to getting and earning some money so I can keep this thing running.
All right. And as I was going to say, as Miss Sadeka said, these people will get more than COVID at this point. Hope they have their own health care.
Well,
Oh, man. Oh,
Camp Syphilis.
wouldn't it be something if Food and Healthy Safety Inspector showed up and shut them down?
Well, you could. It's private property, so I don't know if you could send an inspector in. Although there's children there. There are lots of children there that have been taken out of school, and I've seen the photos of the children. So it's pretty scary.
Yep. And just to finish off those things, Doug Ford showed up at a rally for this, and apparently he was booed. And Mayor Olivia Chow put out a statement, which I did not get to see, so I don't know what was in it, but apparently a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know if it was just a simple thing of it not denouncing Hamas enough, or trying to, or
you can't win.
Well, I mean, because there's a lot of people that say, this is going on in Israel, but we also recognize, that there's a legitimate Palestinian issue, and it's like, no, it's not 100% total support, or like Omar Al Kabra, saying I'm extremely concerned. You didn't denounce, or whatever, right? But apparently she was issuing an apology for the harm and confusion they may have caused, which again leads me to say, you know what? Sometimes in a situation like this, even though everybody's screaming and yelling, tell me something now, maybe just wait.
Yeah.
Maybe just wait. Maybe just go to a mic and say, you know what? There's a lot of stuff going on right now. We're trying to get a handle on what the situation is. Obviously, we're very concerned. We'll get back to you when we know more and we have something to say.
We have the same information you have right now. Let us parse through it, and we will reply in kind as soon as humanly possible.
That's all you need to say the first time around.
Simple
we
as
don't know
that.
much right now. We're finding out. We're doing our best. Of course, we're very concerned. We will let you know as soon as we have something meaningful to say. That's it.
That's all.
But everybody wants to win the nanosecond, and everybody wants to be a hero in the moment. So there we go. We take sides, and then they go kaboom, and then we take more sides. They go kaboom, and we dance. Anyway, so again, kids, if you can be the person in your community who's the calm voice, temperance, be that person. All right, kids, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you love listening to us, because we love making this for you. Of course, sharing is caring, so please let everybody know that we exist. Share our shows with your friends, your family, people on the net who clearly are writing from a place of a lack of information or lack of civics, and say, hey, listen to this.
Well, if you want to learn something, we're going to try and inform you as much as we can.
So please just let everybody know. If you would like to make sure you do not miss an episode, well, our good friend, the Ray Girl, Kit, the Ray Girl, has sponsored our pod page to make sure that you have a place to go to make sure that you do not miss an episode at all. So that little squiggly that was there below me, if you had scanned that, and if you're watching, you can just rewind it a bit and scan it again.
It's back up.
Mr. Grizzly is so helpful. Look at that. Yeah.
Production.
Yeah. Extra salmon.
You trying to kill me? I can't eat seafood.
Well, yes, but a grizzly bear eats salmon.
This is a steak eating.
You
grizzly.
don't eat salmon, but Mr. Grizzly eats salmon. Okay, fine. Extra steak.
Thank you. Some pork chops.
So yes, that's where you go. podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with hyphen between each one of those words. And that's where you can subscribe. And since you like subscribing, why don't you make like Kit Elaine and go to our YouTube page, which I think we may have crossed the 100,000 views barrier, because when I went to bed last night, it was like 99,800. So yay, Mr. Grizzly can eat some hikers. Oh, that
well,
Kit led naughty. That no, no. dark humor. I can't. I should not be laughing so hard because that's tragic.
It's funny.
But yeah, well, not for the hikers and not their families, but oh my God. It's
You
funny
know.
though. I'm so sorry. It might be too soon. um, you could go to our YouTube page and subscribe, share, or like while you're there. So we appreciate that very much. And if you would like to encourage us to do more, you can make a donation to the Eager Beaver Lodge Hydration Fund by scanning that squiggly by Mr. Grizzly's head up there, or by going to our page that's called Coffee. That's spelled ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, lowercase letters, all in one word. And if you make a little contribution there, you'll help keep us. Oh no, I don't think Jen's here today, but she'll be listening. So this is for you. Moist. All right. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying it can be a tough world out there. Let me correct that. This is your Eager Beaver saying it is a tough world out there right now. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom. Yes, your channel has gotten 100,057 viewers so far. Hi. Words of wisdom, Mr. Grizzly. While I keep dancing.
Sometimes it's difficult to choose a side when everybody's losing. It's difficult to choose a side when everybody loses, especially when there are women, children, innocent men who have nothing to do with any of this, who are going to suffer and die because some individuals who are power hungry on both sides of the fence just want to gain an inch of ground. It's like trench warfare in World War I. An inch of ground. How do you choose a side in that? I can't. And again, the side I choose is humanity. I don't want to see any more suffering. I hate to see it. And this is not like Ukraine. This is not like Russia, Ukraine. This is different. This has been going on. Well, basically, it's been a constant state of warfare since 2007. Gaza is basically the world's largest open-air prison. It's a system of apartheid there. That's no lie. That's a fact. And people are suffering. And I know many Israelis who, of course, they're angry about what Hamas did, but Hamas is not the people. It's not the vast majority of the Palestinian people.
And conversely, for other people who are listening, the government of Israel is not the Jewish people either.
No, they're not. Benny Netanyahu is not a good man.
Well, all right, Mr. Grizzly, roll the credits, please.
I just have to find them. There they are.
Yeah. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum. And the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. All right, kids. For the Easter egg, it's not a happy one to start with. So I'm going to try to just... anyway, this is from Mr. Zelensky, from President Zelensky.
I'll read it for you.
Yes.
We have data very clearly proving, hang on a second here. We have data very clearly proving that Russia is interested in inciting war in the Middle East, so that a new source of pain and suffering would erode global unity and exacerbate cleavages and controversies, helping Russia in destroying freedom in Europe. We can see Russian propagandists gloating. We can see Moscow's Iranian friends openly extending a helping hand to those who attacked Israel. All of this represents a much greater threat than the world is currently aware of. The world wars of the past were triggered by local aggressions. We know how to counter this threat. We have already prepared the necessary steps, and our primary goal is to protect the need for maximum global unity.
That last paragraph makes me shudder and sends shivers down my spine. Can you read it again, Mr. Grizzly?
We know how to counter this threat. We have already prepared the necessary steps, and our primary goal is to protect the need for maximum global unity.
I'm not going to lie, kids. I'm legit frightened.
I don't know what else to say, man. It's a bad situation. On that note,
Yeah.
I'll see you later.